Sport mode. Nice. So it was like 50 to 180 kilometers an hour. Really nice. 6.1 seconds is the official acceleration figure. 245 horsepower or 255 horsepower in the US version. Here from this 2-liter 4-cylinder 430i xDrive, all-wheel drive. And here in the sport mode we also have some sound actuation, but I think it's well done. It sounds natural, doesn't sound exaggerated, and there was a good boost indeed. So yeah, you can definitely also live with this 2-liter 4-cylinder. Of course, at some point you maybe don't want to go too high in the price. If you think about a 440i, like the M Performance model, but here with the M Sport package, the one that gets closest to that one. At the same time, you can also drive it in a very, very efficient way. I can already tell you here so far, you can drive it when you go like 100, 120 kilometers an hour, like 60, 70 miles an hour, motorway straight, 6.5 liters on 1 kilometers. That is amazing. So like 36 mpg US, 38 mpg UK. It's very efficient, yet powerful. That is well done, and we have seen similar results both from the BMW 2-liter 4-cylinders and the 3-liter 6-cylinders as well. So that's already pretty good. Noise insulation, you see we have like these winterly conditions. I was really lucky that in the part where we could accelerate all the way out there, everything was dry. So safety first always, of course. But here, even if we have some wet road in the side, it's actually relatively silent. I feel at least. What does the noise expert say?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Leah agrees. Yeah, so here at 120 kilometers an hour, 70 miles an hour, typical motorway speed is definitely silent enough. Nice. You also have good comfort from the seats. As I said earlier, in the X5 5 Series, for example, you have like a different leatherette quality, which is even a step higher, but this one here is already good. You have also like the seating depth, so also is suitable for tall persons for a longer drive, definitely. And very interesting is, I have the feeling that they have fixed the steering. So it has been a big criticism point with 3 Series and 4 Series always from my side with the steering feel, but I feel that it's a little bit better now. So let's see. Yeah, here, yeah, fine commands. Yeah, it does react. Yeah, then it's getting a little bit more reactive to the side. So in the comfort mode, it's still present. So I think it could be better. But I have the feeling that it's a little bit better than before. And in the sport mode, it's definitely better. So here, let's do a lane change as well, one more time. So in here, I have a good feeling for it. As I said, yeah, usually like Audi and also Mercedes have a better steering feel, at least here in the 3 or the 4 Series. The BMW SUVs are actually better in that respect, strangely. But I have the feeling that it's maybe a little bit better now here with the facelift. So here, very nice. Yeah, I think I have enough steering feel with that one, definitely. Yeah, and here also good in the corner. The car doesn't lean at all. That's nicely done. So it is a fun vehicle. And remember, the wheelbase is a little bit shorter here with the 4 Series than with the Audi A5 in the new generation. So I'm also looking forward if that one will have any effect on driving or something like that. But definitely a fun, engaging vehicle. That's the cool thing also about the BMWs. Audi. Dynamic mode. I was like 55 to 115 already. Of course, this one here is not the very comparable engine. Yes, from the base displacement setup, 1.5 seconds slower than the BMW one, because here this one is the most comparable available at this moment with this new generation. Different ones maybe later to compare. And also the US version will be more powerful than this one here we get in the EU. In both cases, this one here, no mild hybrid, because that's a different decision with the Q5. This engine here gets the mild hybrid. Here they said, let's keep it lower in the price without the mild hybrid system. Not sure if that's the correct decision, because we already see a big difference in the consumption, like long-term motorway between the BMW here and the Audi. The BMW, might remember, already said 6.5 liters on 100 kilometers. Here 8.5 liters on 100 kilometers, so it's like 2 liters on 100 kilometers more. So this one here, 27 mpg US, 33 mpg UK, whereas the BMW was like 37 mpg US and 43 mpg UK, so like 10 mpg more. Yeah, so that's a massive difference indeed. And what I'm rating here is really the engine difference, but without the acceleration difference, because as I said, the US version would be more comparable there. But you also feel differences there, because in general it's also good here, but the responsiveness of the engine and also how sovereign it feels, how sophisticated, how cultivated, that one is also better in the BMW. And also some of the shifting processes. Just in the BMW, you accelerate and the car's shifting and you think like, wow, that's giving me a lot of satisfaction. That's how it's supposed to be. But here in the BMW, that's in the BMW, but here in the Audi, it's all good. But how the engine reacts and how the car is shifting doesn't give you satisfaction. That is the main difference. So the BMW to me already leads in the engine and transmission aspect. However, what we have to say is that the suspension here in the Audi is excellent. At the moment we are here in dynamic mode, and we also have the optional adaptive suspension mounted here in this vehicle. In the dynamic mode it's also on a stiffer note, but it's still extremely comfortable. Well done. 19-inch wheels on both vehicles, we have it here as well, so very well comparable. And to select the driving modes, we don't have to confirm something in the screen. I can also select it here, just press it through, and then in the balanced mode, they now call the auto mode just balanced, because everyone was confused before and thought that in the auto mode, which was the basis mode in the Audi suspensions, everyone thought the car is selecting the mode itself, but it's not doing that. Auto was just like a normal mode. And that's why they call the normal mode now balanced. And here, even softer. So that's really the thing, and Audi is mastering that very well, this balance between sportiness and comfort. But definitely we have it more, in comparison to the BMW, pushed towards the comfort side. But looking forward, when we go some quicker corners and so on, if that will lose sportiness, or if this one here is also sporty in the suspension, we just gain more comfort. The lane changes are also really cool, a lot of fun. The steering feel is also better here in the Audi. It's just more precise from the very low degree angles here. So no dead zone area, and also that transition between here, like when you start here, and then you go a little bit more to the outside. So I said in the BMW, it's a little bit better than before, but still there's this, then here it's a little bit more loose. And when you go to the outsides, it's too sensitive. That's the BMW. Here in the Audi, it's perfect, because you don't feel that you would have a difference between where you are with the steering. Everything kind of feels just as it should be, So I have good control here, but at the same time, it doesn't overreact when you go a little bit further. So the Audi steering setup is perfect. And that is a very interesting finding. And they are both on a very high level, definitely, in all the different aspects, but these very fine nuances you only feel when you directly drive them after each other. And once again, BMW better in engine and transmission, the Audi better in the steering, and the suspension is more comfortable, although the suspension are both good, definitely. Any Leah remarks so far? Noise. What do we? It's also really silent. Yeah. I mean, we are going to drive faster very soon now, because I'm not sure yet which is more silent. It could even be that the Audi is more silent, maybe right? That's my first impression, at least at 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour, which is a normal motorway speed in most countries. But
and the seats are very sporty here.
Yeah, seats are also sporty. The seats are holding us tight. The ergonomics, the form of the seats are good. Yeah. But we already felt that, said in the interior part as well, that the seating depth, the famous Einsitzhöhe, it's a little bit harder here in the Audi, so that's better in the BMW. And of course, the discussion leatherette versus fabric, that's I mean, just matter of personal preference and so on. I feel the steering, I mean, the steering is great, but I feel that how it is set up here in this cockpit, I have this, you know, where's it? Yeah, Leah is making fun of me now again, but yeah, I mean, yeah, because that's like a, in German we can say a monk subject,
OCD,
like a OCD, OCD subject, because I always feel like in this, the steering should be like perfectly aligned in the cockpit. Here now, first of all, this S combination, it feels really good, nice. Yeah, suspension-wise and comfort-wise, that's really cool. That's nice. Yeah, feels excellent. So it is fun, it is sporty to drive. The wheelbase here is a little bit longer, as I said, couple of centimeters. Do you feel that? Maybe a little. So I would say from the first impression, the BMW does feel a little bit sportier, does it?
Yeah.
You agree, yeah? Yeah. And like as a passenger, do you, when I throw around the car, where do you feel better, here or in the BMW?
BMW.
In the BMW, interesting.